Every December for 22 years, Michael Jackson would disappear. His security team knew, his closest friends knew, but the media never found out. Where was the most famous man in the world going? Children's hospitals, in the middle of the night, with no cameras, no publicity, no press releases, just Michael, sick children, and shopping bags full of gifts. For 22 years, from 1987 until his death in 2009, Michael Jackson had a secret Christmas tradition. A tradition so private that most of the world didn't learn about it until after he died. This is the story of what Michael did when nobody was watching. The story of compassion without cameras. If you want to know what Michael Jackson did every Christmas that the world never saw, hit subscribe. Ember, 1987. Michael Jackson was at the peak of bad era success, the biggest star on the planet, followed everywhere by paparazzi, every move documented. But on December 18, 1987, something strange happened. Michael's security team received unusual instructions. Late-night hospital visit. No press, no photographers, absolute secrecy. The destination was Children's Hospital, Los Angeles. Michael's car pulled up to a side entrance at 11:47 p.m. Staff had been told to expect a special visitor. Most didn't believe it would actually be him. Then Michael Jackson walked through the door, wearing simple clothes, a surgical mask, baseball cap pulled low, carrying shopping bags. No entourage, no cameras, just him. The night shift nurse, Maria Santos, was first to see him. She thought it was someone playing a prank. Then Michael pulled down his mask slightly, smiled, put his finger to his lips. Shh. I don't want to wake the ones who are sleeping. Can you take me to the children who are awake? For the next 3 hours, Michael Jackson went room to room. He spent 10 to 15 minutes with each child. Talked to them, asked about their favorite games, their favorite songs, signed whatever they wanted. Gave each child a gift he'd personally selected. Action figures, dolls, video games, books. To the parents sitting vigil by hospital beds, Michael gave something else. Hope. Your child is so strong, he told one mother whose son was battling leukemia. I can see it in his eyes. He's a fighter. The mother started crying. Michael stayed with them for 20 minutes, just sitting, holding the boy's hand, singing softly. When Michael finally left at 3 a.m., he stopped at the administrative office. Pulled out a checkbook. I'd like to cover the hospital bills for the families I visited tonight, but please don't tell them it's from me. Just tell them it's been taken care of. The hospital administrator tried to refuse. Too generous, too much. Michael was firm. Please, this is between us. I don't want anyone to know I was here. As he walked out, Maria Santos asked him a question. Will you come back? Michael smiled. Same time next year. But it stays our secret, okay? He kept that promise. For 22 years, from 1987 to 2009, Michael Jackson maintained his secret Christmas tradition. Every December, usually 1 week before Christmas, Michael would visit children's hospitals, always late at night, always unannounced to media, always with the same request, no publicity. The hospitals varied. Children's Hospital Los Angeles, most frequent, but also New York, London, wherever he happened to be in December. The routine was always the same. Michael would arrive between 11 p.m. and midnight, spend 3 to 4 hours visiting every sick child who was awake. For children sleeping, Michael would leave gifts at bedside with handwritten notes. dream of beautiful things. Love, Michael. The gifts were never random. Michael would ask hospital staff weeks in advance about each child, their interests, favorite colors, their dreams. Then he'd go shopping himself, personally selecting every single present. In 1991, a nurse named Jennifer Coleman witnessed something she never forgot. A 7-year-old girl named Emma was dying from brain cancer. Days, maybe hours left, barely conscious. Her parents devastated. Michael came into Emma's room at midnight, saw the Taylor Swift poster on the wall, asked parents about Emma's favorite song. They told him she loved Thriller and would dance to it before she got sick. Michael pulled a chair next to Emma's bed, took her small hand in his, and began singing Thriller softly, just for her. As Michael sang, something miraculous happened. Emma opened her eyes, looked directly at Michael, smiled, tried to move her hands to the rhythm. Her mother collapsed in tears. Her father couldn't speak. Michael sang the entire song. When he finished, Emma whispered something. Michael leaned in close. "Thank you for visiting me in heaven." Michael's eyes filled with tears. "You're not going to heaven yet, sweetheart. You're going to stay right here and keep dancing." Emma died 2 days later. Michael sent flowers to the funeral, paid for all funeral expenses, sent the family a personal letter they cherished for years. The family wanted to tell the world, but they respected his wishes. They kept the secret. This story was just one of hundreds. Throughout the 1990s and 2000s, Michael continued his tradition. During Dangerous Tour, during History Tour, during his most difficult years facing accusations and trials. Even in 2008, when Michael's own health was failing, he still made his December hospital visits. The hospital staff who knew became a silent network. They would coordinate, make sure Michael could visit without media finding out, make sure families understood this was Michael's private act of kindness, not a publicity stunt. In all those years, only one photograph leaked. In 1995, a janitor took a picture of Michael sitting with a child. When tabloids offered the janitor $50,000 for the photo, he refused. Some things are sacred. He gave the photo to the boy's family instead. By 2009, Michael had visited thousands of children, spent hundreds of hours in hospital rooms, given away millions in gifts and paid medical bills. And the world knew nothing, because that's exactly how Michael wanted it. June 25, 2009, Michael Jackson died. The world went into mourning. Millions grieved. Then, in the days after his death, something unexpected began to happen. Hospital staff started talking. Families started sharing their stories. The secret Michael had kept for 22 years began to emerge. Maria Santos, the nurse who'd met Michael in 1987, gave an interview. For 22 years, Michael Jackson visited our hospital every December. We were instructed never to tell the press. He made us promise. But now that he's gone, I think the world should know who he really was. One by one, stories came out. Parents who'd met Michael in hospital rooms. Children, now adults, who remembered the night Michael Jackson visited them when they were sick. Nurses who'd witnessed his compassion. Administrators who'd received his anonymous donations. Jennifer Coleman shared Emma's story. Michael cried when that little girl died. He called the family personally. Went to the funeral in disguise so media wouldn't know. That's who Michael Jackson was when cameras weren't watching. A pattern emerged. 22 years, Dozens of hospitals, thousands of children, millions of dollars in gifts and medical bills, all done in secret, all done without any desire for recognition. The media, which had spent years criticizing Michael, was forced to reckon with this truth. The man they'd called Wacko Jacko had spent 2 decades bringing joy to dying children, without cameras, without publicists, without any reward except seeing a sick child smile. One father, whose daughter Michael had visited in 2003, said it best. The cameras showed us one Michael Jackson, but in that hospital room at midnight, we met a different person, a kind person, a person who cared about my daughter, not because it would help his image, but because caring was who he really was. The hospital visits became symbolic of a larger truth, that Michael's real life happened in moments between headlines, in quiet acts of kindness that never made news, in genuine compassion he showed when no one was documenting it. Today, several hospitals Michael visited have memorial plaques, small markers that read, "In memory of Michael Jackson, who brought light to dark places." But perhaps the most powerful testimony comes from the children themselves, the ones who survived, who grew up, who never forgot the night Michael Jackson visited them. One of them, named David, wrote years later, "I was 9 years old, dying from a rare disease. I had maybe weeks to live. Then, Michael Jackson showed up at midnight. He didn't know there were cameras. There weren't any. He didn't know I'd tell this story. He asked me not to. He just wanted to make a sick kid smile, and he did. I'm 35 now. I survived, and I've spent my life trying to be the kind of person Michael was to me that night. Someone who helps others when nobody's watching. That's Michael Jackson's real legacy. Not the records, not the awards, not the fame, but the midnight hospital visits, the 22 years of secret kindness, the children whose lives were touched by a man who gave without expecting anything in return. When Michael Jackson died, the world mourned a superstar, but the people who knew his secret mourned something else. They mourned the loss of someone who understood that the most meaningful acts are the ones done in darkness, that real compassion doesn't need cameras, that true kindness asks for nothing but the joy of giving. Every December, some of those hospitals still receive anonymous donations, gifts for sick children, medical bills mysteriously paid. No one knows who's sending them, but the nurses smile. They remember. They know that some legacies don't die. They just continue quietly, in the darkness, where they've always belonged. Michael Jackson spent 22 years teaching a lesson the world is still learning. That character is defined not by what we do when everyone is watching, but by what we do when no one will ever know. He kept his secret for 22 years. Now we know, and knowing changes everything.